LFGM, a Mets podcast. Let's fucking go Mets. Instant reaction episode here. Trevor Bauer signs with the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's a 3-year deal. Everybody who's looking at this deal really says it's a 2-year deal for $85 million because he'll just opt out of the last year of the contract for $17 million. Matt, I'm fucking pissed off. I'm going to let you go first, and then I'm going to fucking blow up. So go ahead, take over, say what you want to say, try to talk me off the ledge, do your best. But I got to tell you, I'm fucking sick of this guy.
All right, well, I'm going to talk you off the ledge. I'm going to put my hand out as I'm talking. I'm going to like tiptoe over and try to get you away from that ledge. My first reaction when seeing that was, okay, we definitely have the resources now for Conforto and Lindor extension, so it's all good.
Absolutely.
I was not angry. I was not like, damn, we never get the big free agent. I've heard a lot of that. I was like, there's always next year. And that sounds like a loser thing to say, but it's like, dude, we're in this for the long haul. Like, yeah, we're going to win. We want to win this year, and we are going to win this. We are going to win this year. Mm-hmm. But like, there's free agents next year. There's free agents the year after. And the classes that are coming in the next 2 or 3 years, way better than this 2020-21 class.
I agree with that, all of that. We talked a little bit about the free agent class of next year and how it's absolutely loaded, especially at the shortstop position. It's insane.
Yeah. So I don't.
So you're taking a positive
losing.
Poly route. Go ahead, positive Poly.
I don't mind losing Bauer, especially, when you're thinking, you saw the money and I'm like, okay, like I would have been fine with the Mets spending that, but I'm also fine with the Mets not spending that. And now where do we go from here? And that's a separate conversation.
Yeah, we're going to get to that next.
In a little.
All
yeah,
right.
We'll get into that. But it's just, for me, I thought, and, I'm going to probably diss Mets fans here a little bit, but a lot of Mets fans are so dramatic. And I should just say New York sports fans in general, right? So dramatic. And a lot of them acted like he was ours already, whereas I didn't. I saw this coming a little bit. We all saw the rumors about him apartment hunting in Queens or whatever, and a couple days ago, and I just didn't take anything for granted. Every rumor that I heard, every little thing, even when Nightingale said power to the Mets, that guy needed to go somewhere.
That's the biggest problem with all of this.
Well, that's the problem with
you'll never live this down.
He does it a lot.
It's a race to be first. It's a race to be first, and he trusted a source and he got it wrong. It's a race to be first.
But yeah, no, it is, and I feel like it's like that with all sports because I don't know, it's just a weird thing. They want their retweet or whatever. I don't know, but even seeing that, I was like, all right, show me the numbers first, show me something else first, like whatever. Then it comes out 20 minutes later, not even like, hey, this isn't a done deal. And then once I saw that tweet where it's not a done deal, I'm like,
he played
expectations way lowered. This guy can do whatever he wants, right? So people can get mad at him. I can't get mad at him at all. First of all, he didn't really do anything, right? He put out videos saying like, I could go to this team, I could go to that team. Everyone played into it. Everyone loved it, right? Everyone either loved it or hated it, I'll say, right? Either way, it was polarizing what he was doing, right? And either way, everyone always had an opinion on him while he was doing this. So he won, right? When it came down to the Dodgers and Mets, I knew it was like, yeah, it's 50-50, but it's almost like it's only 50-50 because we're willing to really spend that money, and we've been in since the beginning. And it almost seemed like the Dodgers were too quiet, and I was just like, this is going to happen. Like I really saw it. Like, listen, the Dodgers haven't been talking to anyone. So I'm like, they haven't been talking to Turner, right? They haven't signed anyone really. They haven't signed anyone. And I'm like, I think they want Bauer and then want to form all the pieces around him.
Right. I mean, they have to do that with the structure of I think the contract. They had to see where it was going to fit. All right, so you're positive, Polly. I get it. I have a lot of that in me.
Can I ask you something though?
Go ahead before I go off because I'm going to
Yeah,
go
I just
off.
want
I'm
to
going to need
ask
like
you.
5 minutes here to just. I got to
Yeah,
breathe.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead. Go
I know it's
quick.
coming. I
I'm
know it's
ready to
coming.
go.
So, did you get mad at Bauer for stalling, or did you get mad at Bauer? So you're mad at Bauer, I get that. But did
No,
you
no,
get mad at him for stalling, or did you get like what was the purpose? What was the reason?
I actually think you made some great points. I agree with a lot of what you said, almost all of it. Okay. I have no problem with Bauer signing with the Dodgers. I don't. He's allowed to, like you said, he's allowed to go wherever he wants. It's his decision. It's his free agency. It's his choice. My problem is I got my hopes so fucking high from Bob Goddamn Nightingale tweeting out that he signed with the Mets. That was last night. Okay. All day today, what's the one thing I'm thinking about? Trevor Bauer in a Mets hat. I log on to CBS Sports. I look up Trevor Bauer. I'm like, stat hunting. What do I see? It says Trevor Bauer, Cincinnati Reds pitcher, free agent, and the picture is Trevor Bauer in a Mets hat with the orange and blue with a little pinstripe action going.
CBS had that?
CBS had that. So now I'm like, oh, I'm feeling some type of way. He's coming to us. Even though Bob Nightingale refuted, I still have high hopes. And then I'm walking to the car. I'm checking my phone. I pull up Twitter, and John motherfucking Heyman ruined my day. And it was the most subtle tweet. It was like 4 words: Bauer to the Dodgers. Like that's all you're gonna give me, John? That's it? So I don't have a problem with Bauer signing where he wants to sign. Go ahead, be my guest. What I have a problem with is the fact that he fucking toyed with us. He played us like a fiddle. He played us like a goddamn fiddle. He got our hopes up. He got our expectations up. And then he stomped on us. Stomped on us. He's tweeting out pictures of him, like you said, in the Mets hat with the Mets uniform. He's got on his website an LFGM section with all these orange and blue shirts. It's like, what? He's got the autographed hat that you can sign up for, and like he's giving away a Mets autographed hat for free. I really think so. I think in my head, I think what happened was someone from and Rachel Luba. I'm getting to her in a second. Rachel Luba, I think, and somebody from her camp leaked out some information to Bob Nightingale. And I think they were like, we need the Dodgers to go up a little bit more. We want to go to LA. And they fucking used us, man. They used us. The offer was, I think it was like for the Mets, it was 2 and 75 or 2 and 80 over the course of 2 years. And the Dodgers is 2 and 85. They took the Mets contract. They said, here's what we have. They gave it to LA, and they said, beat it, or else we're signing with New York. He never wanted to come here. He never wanted to come here. I really don't think there was anything in his head that was like, I want to be in New York. I don't think that ever got to him. So why all this hyped up fucking bullshit is what you can call it, right? It's a hot air balloon of crap where he kept talking and talking and talking and tweeting and talking and tweeting and pictures and videos and blah, 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 blah. I get it. I'm salty, I guess is the best way to put it. Go wherever you want. Go ahead. Fine. Honestly, you're a little bit of a Kevin Durant move right now because you just signed with the world champs and you signed a 2-year contract with them and you're going there for the money. You're going there for the money and you got what you wanted. So, I mean, congrats to your agent. Congrats to you. You played us for fools. Honestly, now, okay, got it off my chest a little bit, right? Positives from this. The Dodgers spent $85 million on one player over the course of 2 years. That's huge on their payroll. You got to think that takes them out of some sort of free agency market for next offseason. So one competitor I hopefully don't have to worry about a year from now. Number 2, hopefully, and I hate to wish I don't want to wish bad upon anybody, but hopefully he throws like a 3.80 RA this year with like I don't know, 150 strikeouts and 70 walks. Ha ha! You're paying a pitcher. You're paying David Price like $30 million and Trevor Bauer 40. You have $70 million between those two players right there. Suck it. Thirdly, Rachel Luba. Rachel fucking Luba, his agent. I got a problem with her right now because she's going on this Twitter escapade saying that you know he never said to trust the media. And dude, you were your own media. You're putting on hats of every different team. You're ranking teams in your free agency, right? Number one, he had, the fan base that I liked the most was the Angels. Sit on it, Trevor. The Dodgers weren't even on that list. Rachel Luba is talking how like he did nothing wrong and the media got it wrong and he didn't troll anybody. No, sweetie. You trolled us. You got us. And like you said, I think there are some positives that come out of it, but you trolled us. Don't act like you didn't, because you did.
All right, so let me ask you something here. Do you think that's the first time that's ever happened? Like
No,
she created that?
not. No.
Do you think that happens every single offseason?
Don't blatantly lie about it. You know what I'm saying?
Come on. Do you think that happens every offseason?
It obviously happens every offseason, but the agents aren't going out there saying, oh my God, leave him alone. The media got it wrong. He's a good guy. Shut up and own it. Shut up and own it.
Well, I think it's a little bit different with him because everyone really calls him a bad guy, and I think that's horrible.
He's really not. He's not. He's got a bad rep for no reason.
I think that's awful. And so I think it's a little bit different of a situation with him. I think his agent does need to step up and say these things and say listen, this guy's an awesome guy. I think that's what needed to happen because he's gotten dragged so much. I just found it bizarre. Even Mets fans were like, "Oh, after this Porter situation, you really want this guy Bauer?" It's like,
stop. That's ridiculous.
They have nothing to do with each other. And honestly, it's really, really fucking rude and disrespectful to put
even
those two in the same category, man. Imagine if you were, as a human, if you were put in the same category as that. That's bullshit.
I guess my biggest gripe with all of it is that he did this big LeBron James style decision.
He did, but he didn't though.
And he used us to get to where he wanted. And, it's all good. You got what you wanted, but just know, you're my John Rocker now. You're my Roger Clemens. You have become the anti-hero. You're the villain. You're public enemy number one because of the way that you went about it. And I wish like I said, I hope he plays. I hope he kind of underperforms. I mean, it's going to be hard to live up to a $40 million a year, right? That's tough. I don't think we've ever seen that. But and then your mind runs. It's like, oh my God, DeGrom, Bauer. We got a freaking the last 3 Cy Young Award winners on one staff, and
yeah, but that's on you though as the fan.
I know it is.
It's not on him. I obviously listen. He hyped it up, but guess what? This offseason, this was shades of the NBA offseason, which is what people love. That's the best part about the NBA is the offseason with free agency because there's so much drama.
It's like a reality TV show.
Maybe future free agents take a hint, and we won't have 140 players just sitting right here, around.
I know. It's crazy. But I do think some of the bigger pieces had to fall in order for some of these other guys to get signed. So, all right, we've got. We came into this offseason, Steve Cohen's first offseason as the owner of the Mets, right? And there were the big 3. And it was Real Muto, back with the Phillies. It was George Springer, and he's with the Toronto Blue Jays. And then it was Trevor Bauer, who just signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And if you're asking me to my face, if this straight up, if this offseason was a failure, I say absolutely not. There is no chance in hell you can consider this offseason a failure because you got a catcher on the relatively cheap, right? You got one of the best shortstops in the game, and you got another starting pitcher in Carlos Carrasco. You bolstered the bullpen with Loop and Trevor May. You brought in some starting pitching depth with Lucchesi and who's the other starting pitcher they brought in?
I
don't know. Oh, it was Carrasco. I said it already. You
yeah,
brought in Lucchesi and Carrasco. I wouldn't say that this offseason's a failure. And quite frankly, you didn't sign Bauer, so you still have $40 million to work with, right? Like there's still some viable options if you wanted to sign another starting pitcher, and we can still go after a center fielder. The JBJ talk for $40 or $50 million is absolutely insane. I don't see that happening at all whatsoever.
I think SNY, I think they just had a person write that article that didn't know what
That was the most ridiculous thing I've seen SNY.
No one's going to pay him that.
It was the second most ridiculous thing SNY has put out since they kind of went after Steve Cohen a little bit. Jeff and Saul Wilpon own company, SNY. So yeah, man, we got a chance to go after a center fielder. We got a chance to go after a starting pitcher. I said back in this probably maybe a month ago now, but I love Jake Odorizzi. I think you can get him for 1 year. I think you can get him for $10 to $13 million for the season. And I think he's really good. Is he Trevor Bauer good? Absolutely not. He's not going to win you a Cy Young, but I think he's going to eat some innings. I think he's a viable starter. I think you can put him right in. You can pencil him into your starting rotation in a 4 or 5 spot. I would love for them to look at someone like Jake Odorizzi. I saw Rich Hill. I don't love that at all. But Odorizzi is someone that I got my eye on. And, of course, Andy Martino was like, there's no interest between the Mets and Jake Odorizzi. So I guess there's that.
Yeah, there really isn't. And, there's all that talk with Odorizzi and the Mets has strictly been fans on social media. So I've kind of crossed that off too. And to be honest, I'm not crazy into that really at this point either. I don't think that really necessarily does much. I don't think that it almost is worse. I don't know why, but it's if we lose out on Bauer, don't just say, "Oh, we got Jake Odorizzi."
Yeah.
I don't really want to hear that.
So, when Sandy always talks about, he's like, "Well, we're going grocery shopping in the meat section." It's like, no, you hit the clearance section if you're getting Jake Odorizzi. You got some brown bananas in your shopping cart that are 50% off.
Yeah. So I mean. But there's not many options out there for starting pitchers, so I don't love anything. I do I'm intrigued by Taijuan Walker.
Yeah, I keep seeing that name out there too.
I'm intrigued by him. He's had some injuries, but he's got good stuff, man. He's put up some good numbers. I'm intrigued by that. I'm intrigued by Pilar for center. JBJ would be cool for the right price, but I don't. Here's the thing with center, right? Center field, it's a weird one because ask yourself the question, would you want to see any of those guys that we mentioned for center field playing more than 3 days a week? And I know my answer.
Yeah,
that's no. What are we shopping for then?
Right. So the problem, if you want to talk center field first, or you want to talk about the pitching rotation?
We can do center. There's not. I mean, I don't.
So the problem is if they sign off on this DH thing, then you can Dom becomes your DH. Nimmo moves to left. Conforto staying in right, and then who's playing center field?
Yeah, I mean. That's an issue, but it's also really not. I don't know if it's looking like there is going to be a DH this year.
I know. Okay. What happened?
So you got to play it like we're not.
Yeah. No, I get it. I think I would say it's 50-50. So,
and that's why I think the Springer situation was more difficult than people thought because it's like,
dude, I agree.
We didn't know. So I do think signing someone like a Pilar, JBJ. I don't really want Albert Almora, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I like him more than you, but
I don't know if I'd want Marisnik back. Um,
yeah,
I wouldn't hate it if we took Marisnik back. I'm fine with that.
you
John
really
Jay
should.
is out there, I know too. But these are all guys that are going to be backups, which I'm fine with because it's completely fine to start Brandon Nimmo. In my opinion, it's fine to
No, I
start
agree.
Brandon Nimmo the first 6-7 innings, and when you get in a tight ball game, you take him out and you lock down center with one of these guys.
Yeah, I
That's
think
how
the
I would
only
play.
yeah, that's how I would too. I think the only issue becomes if there is a DH. Then then I think the price on JBJ is going to go up a little bit more because you would imagine then, Dom Smith is going to go to DH. Nimmo would probably move to the left corner outfield, right? And then you would need a center fielder
That's
and
crazy.
a starter too.
I didn't even
That's a
think of
different
that
ballgame.
though. Like these guys are all waiting, probably because of the uncertainty of the
Yeah,
DH. And a
these
lot
guys
of
got to
these guys
figure it
could
out,
go
man.
to teams right away if there is a DH. Like, hey, we got another spot. Maybe a lot
Yeah,
of these position players, that's the case.
they
Like you
might
don't
want
want
to
to sign a
start.
guy
They might
like
want to start. Yeah.
Ozuna and then you don't have a DH, and you're just like, well, what do we
Yeah,
do?
and even the Mets have been flirting with Ozuna too, and it's like, well, that would be interesting too because then your outfield. Then Dom Smith is a starting outfielder, and Nimmo
Oh, let's
becomes a
just leave our
starting
gloves at home
fielder.
then.
I know, and because Ozuna can't throw a ball, he just shot puts it everywhere he goes. Would love that bat. I just don't. I don't think that's the right move for this team at this point either. Starting pitching wise. Jake's obviously your one. We've talked about Stroman and Cookie going to be your 2 and 3, 3 and 2, however you want to put them is fine by me. You got to think Peterson's your fourth starter right now, and I would probably guess that it's Luke Casey's going to be the 5 with Matt's gone. Luke Casey becomes the 5, and whenever Noah comes back, and they can kind of pitch it together, the two of them.
Now, I thought about Mats today. I feel like they made that trade pretty much because they were trying to go in on Bauer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They dumped $5 million. They took back, they got the guy Smith. Uh, the last name's the hyphen
Yeah,
thing,
whatever, whoever they are, but
and they
it's
got two more guys with options for relief
we
pitching. But
replaced Mats with Lucchesi essentially, so that's not doing a lot. So we got to be aware of that.
yeah, it's not
that's,
moving the needle by any means.
that's not doing much. So there's nothing out there though. So I don't think like I'm not a fan of just spending because we have 40 to spend.
Well, I
Like
also think you're probably going to get some of these guys on 1 year deals. So if you can get them on a 1 year deal and you're not signing anybody long term, then that's great. You got, I
yeah,
think we're right around like 180, and we've got up until like 210. So you have $30 million to work with. If they signed Bauer, they were going to be over the luxury tax, which we both don't love. Um, but you got $30 million to work with here. You can spend some money, try to find some guys on 1 year deals. Maybe you look at another bullpen piece at this point. Try to really shore up the end of the bullpen there. And I think the really good thing, like you had mentioned earlier, is that this frees up your long-term flexibility for Francisco Lindor and Michael Conforto to sign them long-term. It also is one less person on the books for the following 2 or 3 years here. And the Mets have some serious flexibility there if you look at the payroll, for the next 2 or 3 seasons. So it's there's some blessings in disguise with it, but I just don't. I had such a sour taste in my mouth with the way everything went down the last 24 hours, and like I said. Go to LA. You're allowed to go wherever you want. You're a free agent. I hope you throw I hope you have like a 380 ERA. I hope you're not in the top 5 for Cy Young. And I really hope you opt in so we don't have to do this again next year for your $45 million next year. And when
he has an opt out after one.
He has an opt-out after 1 and 2. So everyone's assuming he's going to opt out after 2 because why would he take $17
It's a
million?
ton of
It's
money.
not
Yeah.
even a qualifying offer. So it's really a 2-year, $85 million offer. And the Mets was the first 2 was for 80 in total.
Well, with the luxury tax, they had to weigh it a little bit differently, and then we're going to pay him more ultimately. But that's
Yeah.
he is going to be the top free agent again, and this is what he's thinking. He's going to be the top free agent again in 2 years.
That's what he's thinking. Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. That's I don't. I'm sure there's some other guys that are in there, but I can't.
I
I
mean,
can't think.
there's no way he opts out of a a 1-year, $45 million contract. That would be blatantly the stupidest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, no,
It's not gonna happen. It's not
I
just
agree
not
with
gonna
that. That would.
So he's
But
locked up there for 2 years.
yeah, I mean, and for okay, so 22. Who knows though, man? Because this free agent class for 22, 23, DeGrom has an opt out. Sonny Gray club option, so that's tough.
Yeah,
Clevenger
I keep
is a
hearing
free
the
agent.
trade for Suarez and Sonny Gray too. I don't love that move either.
Um, yeah, that seems to be pretty much it. Joe Musgrove, but it's a better class than what we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
So
I like Musgrove. He's good. Um, and like guys, by that time, we'll have a different vibe on some certain people. Like people will blow up over the next 2 years.
yeah, I mean, I
Um,
do think that he will be worth this money. So
$85 million. Oh my god.
it's all relative on how you determine what worth is anyway. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I think compared to the highest paid pitcher last year, Garrett Cole, I think he's going to do better than that.
I mean, if you look at the DeGrom contract, that it's like a steal.
Yeah. Yeah. But and people forgot too, like, yeah,
5 and
he's a free
135.
agent after the 2022 season. So, he'll be older, sure, but
He's not going anywhere. There's
that's
no
what
way.
I'm saying though. Like like we have to pay our guys first.
Right. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I get it. Like I
So
said, there's some blessings in disguise with it. I don't like the way it went down. And that Rachel Luba, she's rubbing me the wrong way on Twitter. She needs to shut up. And I know you
she did
said she's
good.
got to back her man's. I get it.
She did good.
No, she did. I mean, she got the what is this? This has got. I mean, 45 million in 1 year has got to be the most that's ever. He probably makes more than LeBron James.
He might. Like
He probably
annual
makes
was
more
the
than LeBron.
AAV.
He probably makes Well, the AAV over the 2 years would be 42 and a half.
LeBron makes 39.22.
Nailed it. He makes
this
more
year.
than LeBron. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, kids, play baseball.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
I know. Oh, I just don't like the way it went down. It's like it's bothering me. I gotta
I
let it
guess I
go.
was just bracing for it.
Yeah. He used us. He played us like a fucking fiddle, man. You know what's going to be really exciting for me? By mid-August, the Dodgers come to Citi Field. Cuomo's like, I'll let a few thousand people go to the game. Sure, why not? But you have to be vaccinated. I'll be like, shoot me up with anything. Because if that fucking guy, Trevor Bauer, is pitching, I am gonna go ballistic. You have no idea. There could be 2,000 people in the stands. It's going to sound like 40,000 people in the stands. It's going to be like the World Series back in 2015. We're going after this guy. I'm telling you. It's not going to be pretty.
Do you think the Mets fans will hold this against them?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, listen, it's the best part about this is I'm not getting too amped up about it right now, but with the situation that you just said, that's like, yeah, I want to beat his teeth in when we play him, but it's all good outside of that. That's how I feel. But when we play him, it's on.
I'm not there yet. It's still like it's raw. It's very raw for me. I'm not there yet. I feel like in 2 or 3 days I'll calm myself down here and I'll be good to go. I'll say screw this guy. We don't need him anyway.
So have you thought about revenge yet? Where you want someone
mean
like
when
Justin
Noah
Turner.
Syndergaard throws high and tight?
No. Listen to my question. Like, have you thought about like, man, I kind of want Turner from them
Yeah,
now.
you want to take somebody from them. I don't know. What's Turner going to sign for?
And somebody is Justin Turner, who's pretty damn good.
I would love to bring back Red Turn too. Love Justin Turner. Loved him when he was here. Sandy said when Murphy retired, Sandy said he was like the two biggest mistakes I ever made were letting Murphy walk and letting Justin Turner go. And he's right. He's right to own it too. He was. I mean, Murph was. In my estimation, he should have won the MVP over Chris Bryant that year. And then Justin Turner, all the dude does is hit, and he's a postseason dog.
Justin Turner, if you look at his numbers, for the Dodgers,
it's not bad.
Not bad, dude.
No. I'm like doing the lineup in my head because even if so again, I'm so set on this DH thing. But if there is a DH, Turner could DH. You could put Dom in left. You could put Nimmo in center. You can really play with that lineup quite a bit.
Turner, I'll stop you right there. Turner's a better glove than JD. Stop you right there.
Yeah, but his knees are so shot, man. You want him out there playing third base like that?
4 days a week, yeah.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying, right? So the other two, okay, so four, let's say, we'll call it 3 and 3 to be even. If there's 6 games in a week, right? We'll give JD 3 games, and we'll give Turner 3 games. JD sits on the JD could even DH. JD's played the outfield. It's not pretty. I think that could actually be something they could look into, quite frankly. I don't know what that contract would look like. Is it 3 years? Is it 4 years? He's gonna want the years, not the money.
Yeah, so the Brewers are in on him now. He doesn't want to go to Milwaukee.
You actually believe he didn't? No, he's not. One, he's not going to Milwaukee, and two, why would Milwaukee pay for him at this point?
They don't have a third baseman. They don't have a third baseman. Look at their roster.
Who did they sign? They say
Colton Wong.
Colton Wong.
It's a great signing.
That was a good move on their part.
And they got Keston, whatever his last name is. He's gonna slide over to first, but they don't really have anyone playing third. So it could happen. It's just clearly he doesn't want to go there. Clearly he wants to stay in warm weather. And it's like I said.
Oh yeah, because
he's using the Brewers. He's using the Brewers to try to leverage the Dodgers. So
I hear you. Well,
how that goes.
Can we talk about one more? I texted you when this happened. I knew it was going to happen. You know what I'm going to say, right?
What's that?
Now that we're talking about the Central, Nolan.
Yeah, I mean,
that was such a pipe dream for me. I love the way
they all are. We got Nolan, we got Chris Bryant.
I know you can't have everybody. I wanted it, dude.
Everyone's got to chill out.
If you told me in the beginning of the offseason, if you could pick anybody out of Bauer, Lindor, Springer, Real Muto, who am I missing? Oh, and Nolan. I would have picked Nolan, especially with that trade. The Rockies are paying $50 million for him to not be there.
Yeah, well, again, you don't know if we were going to get that same deal. And Lindor and Arenado, they're there. It's the same thing.
That side of the infield. No ground ball gets through that side of the infield. That would be unbelievable to watch.
I know, but, his shoulder is something to look for.
He could opt out, and he could opt out of that contract and hit free agency, and we talked about that earlier too. So maybe it's like when they traded for McGuire for the 1 year, and he was like, why am I going here? I'm not going to come back here. And then he ended up signing back there. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with him long term. That'll be one to keep an eye on for sure. I was just going to say something, and I can't remember. I don't know.
That's probably it.
Yeah. You want to? All right. Now I got going. I'm going to get you going with one word. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
This is how we can close today. Edwin.
Yeah. I've been watching him on Twitter.
I know. Oh, Sugar Diaz. Fight Flames.
You know what? I will say this: it's better that when he first got traded to us. I was looking at videos of him just throwing in like a farm field, and I was like, "What is he doing?" And now he's throwing from a mound in a baseball field. So I'm like, "All right, maybe this is a step up." So
Get Ricky Bonas out there. Ricky, talk to him, Rick. All right, that's all I got. Trevor Bauer, Dodgers. Me, unhappy. Rachel Luba, good agent. Get off of Twitter. The end. Any final words, Matthew?
now I'm done.
All right. Put it in the books.